All right. Um, Hello. Thank you for welcoming me here. I'm Maxime. I'm a JavaScript developer here at Algolia. And I'm working in the InstantSearch team. I will describe you what is InstantSearch. And for the last 5 months, I've been working on Angular to deliver a new library for the InstantSearch family, the Angular InstantSearch library. While building this library, we wanted to have support of server-side rendering out of the box. So tonight I will mainly talking about this interesting challenge that was having server-side rendering with an external library from your project. So let's start with a little bit of InstantSearch. So as you can see on the screen here is the result on the right of Angular InstantSearch. So Angular InstantSearch and InstantSearch libraries are a way to create great UI on how to do search on your website or on your product. So with this simple line of code, you can create a complete UI on how to have a search experience on your website. This is an example for an e-commerce website, and you can see that everything is just moving as soon as you're typing something in the search box or while you are interacting with the filters on the page. So we started to build InstantSearch.js at first. So it was a vanilla JavaScript library. So it could focus, it could work with any frameworks or any other libraries that you will have on your website. But soon after, clients and customers of Algolia were asking us to create a framework specialized library for them, so they could use an API that fits with the usage of the framework. So for instance, for Angular, you're gonna prefer to use directives into your templating of your application than using functions to instantiate a widget on a page. Server-side rendering. Yes. So one of the biggest challenge we had for the Angular InstantSearch library was to have the server-side rendering with the library itself. So we want to have server-side rendering on e-commerce websites. So when you go directly on a search page, you have all the products already shown. So it can be well indexed by Google, for example, for SEO purpose. So server-side rendering is now really easy with Angular 5 because Angular 5 comes with great tools to build server-side rendering application, but it's lacking a bit of documentation. So tonight we will see how to do the server-side rendering with Angular 5. First, a little bit of history. So server-side rendering was started as a side project from the Angular team called Angular Universal. So it was aiming Angular 2 version applications. And then with the version 5 of Angular 5, of Angular, when it comes out, there was some of the modules of Angular Universal that were merged into the core of Angular. So you don't have to bother anymore with external package to create your server-side rendering. If you want to start a brand new project with server-side rendering, I will recommend you to use the Angular Universal Starter, which is a boilerplate made by the Angular team. It's really complete. You don't have to bother with the Webpack config or the Node.js server that will do the server-side rendering. Everything is inside it. You just have to code. But as a README warns us, there's still some issues that are not resolved in the boilerplate itself, like the way requests are done. If you use the boilerplate as it, you will have the request made on the server side and on the browser side as well. And this is not a behavior that you want for your final applications. we will see how to fix it. So this is a basic schema of how server-side rendering works. So first, your browser requests a page. You have the rendering server that is running your Angular application on the server side. It generates some HTML markup, sends it back to the browser. The browser reads it, finds some application JavaScript to load and run, get the application JavaScript, and now starts the app on the browser side as well. Yeah, that was really easy. I was really impressed because I wasn't working with Angular before. To achieve server-side rendering with Angular was pretty easy and pretty straightforward. I was really impressed. But this is for a really simple application without any HTTP request made to an API. So let's see with a real-world example with an application that is doing API request. So this is the schema of what we will try to do. So the browser is still requesting a page to the rendering server. The rendering server starts the app, runs the code, finds out that it needs to fetch some request on an external API. It does the request, wait the answer, generate the HTML, give it back to the browser starts the app, and the browser is doing again the same request to the API. But yeah, this will be solved after. But this is how it works when you are using the boilerplate at the first time. Done.js, yes. So there is something quite obscure into Angular. Maybe you've heard of it. It's done.js. It does a lot of stuff, and I'm not really sure of everything that it's doing. But one of these things is that it's rewriting all the JavaScript functions that are asynchronous, like set timeout, set intervals, promises, and HTTP request in the end. That's how Angular knows that you are doing a request on the server side. So it waits for the request to be done before generating the HTML markup. This is because of done.js. So if you know more about done.js and you want to teach me, let's talk about it after. Let's have a demo. So I will show you a simple component that is doing a request to an HTTP to an API, renders it, and we see what is wrong with it. So let's refresh the page. So yeah, you may have seen it went really fast. First, we had the HTML markup from the server. We had the image loaded on the page. Then it has a kind of blink because the browser now starts the app again on the browser side, does the request again, and renders the image. You can see here that we have an InstantSearch request to the API done by the browser. Okay, where is it? Okay. So now let's see the ideal situation where we want to go. Same schema without the second request. So how can we do that? Angular 5 comes with a great API called transfer state. It's not documented in the guide of doing server-side rendering, so you have to know about it. Transfer state helps you to flag some kind of your component state as something to be resolved on the browser side as well. So what it does is that on the server side, it serializes all this data into a JSON that will be written on the HTML markup of the page. So when the browser takes back and loads the app, it knows about this data already registered in the app. So it starts the app at the right time. So let's see the same demo, but with the fixed one. All right. Now there is no more blink. We don't have any more InstantSearch request done on the browser side, and the app is working. We can see that in the source code here we have some kind of string that is the state of the application at the end of the server-side rendering. So the browser can text back at this time. All right. So this was one of the biggest issues we had with Angular InstantSearch, but we had some other issues for server-side rendering, like the window is not defined. Yes, window is not defined on the server-side environment. It's only while we were building in Angular InstantSearch, we are doing a UI library with a lot of DOM manipulation. So we were requesting access to the window or document object in the library itself. And Angular comes with tools to prevent that. You have two great functions from Angular library. That is Platform Browser or Platform Server. It helps you to run conditional code in the environment you need. This is another great tool from the Angular core team. It's called Preboot, and it solves another issue. The issue we had while building Angular InstantSearch was when the application when it starts in the browser, it takes some time to load. So maybe the user was already typing in the search box, but the Angular app doesn't know about it. So the result on the final page, the search results are not good. So Preboot is here to solve that. It records all the events that are happening on the page before the Angular app is started and loaded, and then replay them to the browser. So the Angular app, your Angular application knows about these events and can run while as nothing was loading, like the app just works. So yeah, you can check it out on GitHub as well. And this is not bound to Angular, so you can use it with React or any other framework or any other library. It works with everything. So that was my main learning while doing this Angular library, Angular InstantSearch library with server-side rendering. So first we learned how to avoid the double request with the transfer state API. Then how to run conditional code with Platform Browser and Platform Server, and how to solve the events not registered by the browser because the app is not started yet with Preboot. You can check out the demo code on GitHub as well. And yes, that's how we solved server-side rendering for Angular InstantSearch. And please try out Angular InstantSearch. It takes 5 minutes to getting started. You don't have to push data to Algolia. We will give you an index to try it on, so you can try the library. All the code is open source, so you can check it out on GitHub. And please try it out and give me feedback, because I need feedback to build the best library possible. Thank you.